Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's Trevor here with you today on this episode, and I'm joined by my guest, Lena. Now, Lena spent many years in a career as a computer programmer, consultant, and a business architect. Then, about 2 years ago, she quit the corporate life to start two different businesses, a transport franchise and a health and wellbeing consultancy, which uses alternative medicine. Now, she's here to tell us how she manages two businesses and helps business owners as well. So, welcome to the show. Welcome, Lena Thompson.
Hi, Trevor. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for giving us your time. And you're going to tell us about biofield resonance technology in a little bit. But maybe to start with, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and your journey.
Sure. So many moons ago, I was born in Soviet Russia. And when I was about 13, there was a big change, a political change in the country. So the borders opened up and we left Russia and we moved to Israel, where I spent one happy year of my life. But that didn't last. We packed up again, and next time we went to South Africa. And probably as you picked up already from my accents, I grew up, spent many years in South Africa. And when I finished school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but computers was a cool thing to do back then. I mean, my heart and soul were always more with more of a holistic, more of a medicine, even though I didn't want to become a doctor, but it was that kind of a avenue I was trying to explore. But the peer pressure, I guess, from the outside and, constant, my parents and friends and family telling me I need to do something more practical led me down the road of computer science. So I've qualified, I've finished my degree got my degree in computer science. And I was really lucky, to end up some really amazing jobs. And in 2004, I got a transfer to Yeukai to work on a project for Microsoft, for Ministry of Defense, actually, working in Reading, where you are now.
Yeah.
And for the next 10 or 12 years while I was in Yeukai, that's basically where I was, not in Microsoft, but it was all in IT. I quit my full-time job because I just felt bored. I felt disconnected. I wasn't really seeing what I was doing. And I thought maybe if I get a contract job, that might be more exciting. So I started hopping from one contract to next. And that still didn't satisfy me. So I started piling lots of holidays into my lifestyle, taking, kids and my husband, and we would go skiing, we would go to South Africa. But that still wasn't good enough. So then we started moving quite a lot. I was taking kids in out of school, and I just did not understand what was going on with me, because everything I think on the outside, my life was great. I had an amazing job. I had substantial income. The kids were in private schools, but I just was miserable. I was really disconnected from everything. So, and there was a big personal change, big kind of, big change happened in 2019, and which led me to review my life, quit my job, and start a new life. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, it sounds interesting. It's amazing. I find it interesting how, lots of different guests, myself included, we're all on a journey, aren't we, of discovering what is it that we're passionate about and how can we express that in a way that, yes, makes money, but much more than that. I think it's the giving back, it's the reaching other people, making the world a better place, isn't it? I think if you get to the point where that's your aim, that's my philosophy, I think that's a lot healthier than just, let's earn as much as we can, bigger house, bigger car, all the rest of it. Nothing wrong with that. By all means, have that. But I just think, as the general philosophy of life, we're always searching and adapting, aren't we? We're growing into becoming better people, one would hope, and then we learn and explore and uncover new interests, or maybe we get to the point where we get enough courage to move on to the next thing. Particularly, it took a lot of courage to leave a well-paid job and a career which would have set you up for life from a financial perspective, but maybe, you'd have been the most miserable computer scientist, business architect out there. I don't know. But as it is, you've now sort of moved into 2 different franchises. So Driving Miss Daisy, tell us a little bit about that first.
Sure. So the interesting part, actually, how the whole Driving Miss Daisy manifested. Back in 2019, I was attending a workshop with Dr. Jody Spencer, and he's a neuroscientist, and he actually his work was responsible for changing my life around completely. So I went to his workshop. It was in November 2019 in Brighton for 7 days. And there we were doing a meditation. And I remember I was visualizing in that meditation that I would start something new, working with elderly people, helping them to tackle loneliness, and just, free them up a little bit somehow. I didn't really know how. It was just an idea that's just, conceptualized in my mind. And in my mind, I gave this name to this charity I was going to create, Driving Miss Daisy. So then when the retreat finished and I went back home and I was getting very edgy, nothing was working, nothing was connecting with me. I didn't know where I was going. I hated going to work. So I started kind of Googling, various charities I could maybe join, or I didn't really know what I was even looking for. And about a few weeks later, I received an email from, it was Age UK, and they said to me, look, there are already a lot of charities, and it is quite a big thing to start a new charity. But why don't you connect? There is a franchise not far from where you are, and they provide companionship and transport services. And I don't think they've got a branch in your area, and they're called Driving Miss Daisy. And my jaw literally just hit the floor. I was like, no way. So I'm like, that was a sign. So yeah, I've contacted the nearest branch. They came around, and I was like, well, I've never run a business. My background is IT. I've never really helped people. I didn't have to do that. Nothing made sense. And I was like, I'm in. So that's how it all started, really.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the health and well-being sort of avenue as well that you're
right.
a consultant, aren't you? So you help businesses or business owners strike the balance of, the different areas of life whilst running a business. Is that where we mentioned biofield resonance technology? And I know everybody listening is really curious to know what that is. Is that part of your discovery once you'd set up the health and well-being side of things, or was that something that you were aware of and had studied previously?
No, I wasn't aware of anything like that. Basically what happened once, because I was still working in my IT job, and then I hired a driver. We bought 2 vehicles with wheelchair adapted, and I was just doing it very part-time on the weekends. And when I started, coming across my clients, a lot of them were elderly, in pain, chronic pain, and taking medications, taking drugs, sometimes with massive side effects, and often actually having no improvements. Because, I've already kind of got into this field of meditation and energy healing, and I've seen what was possible to achieve just by raising our own energies, by raising our own frequencies. I knew it was possible for them to feel better, irrespective of what kind of shape and form they were in. But also for them, that concept was so far-fetched. They wouldn't go and meditate. They wouldn't even consider like Reiki or energy healing. And I started searching really for something that could help them to, make them feel better. So one day I was at the networking events, and I was there actually to promote Driving Miss Daisy. And I remember I got there, and there was this gentleman. He was in his mid-70s. He was standing there with his patches. I can't really describe it. So it's like a patch, like little things. And he was talking about his wife who suffered terribly with arthritis, to such an extent where her hands, she couldn't even pick up knife and fork, and she was in pain. So he finally managed to convince her just to stick 2 patches on her hands, and she went off to bed. The next morning, he said there was no pain in her hands. She could take knife and fork. She was completely mobile. She could take a tennis ball. And he just said it was mind-blowing. So that really interests me, because once he mentioned the frequencies and energies, and I liked the fact that there was nothing to ingest, nothing to rub, nothing to smell. It was like a patch. And I thought, well, that would resonate with my clients. And basically, that's how my whole journey really started, because then I took a sample, I went home, I stuck it on my mom, and she had like big injury in her shoulder. She couldn't sleep at night. She was on injections. And I said, Mom, if that works, I said, that would be amazing. So I put one sticker on her and she went to bed. The next morning, she came running down the stairs. She goes, I don't know what you stuck at me, but this is the first time in months I've slept, and then we started going to some of the clients, we putting certain patches on them, and results we got were mind-blowing. So that's how my whole journey with the biofield, it's a biofield resonance technology. That's how the whole thing started, really.
Yeah. So within the patch, there's something that then you mentioned about vibration and stuff. How does a patch, I guess it's not plugged in if you can sleep with it and things. So
it's like a plaster. It's literally like a little plaster that goes on your body, depending really, what your health conditions are. So whether you're in pain, or maybe it's because you've got, migraine, or you've got fatigue, or your immune system is weakened. It's all based on a concept of, Nikola Tesla, that's what this whole technology is pioneered on. And we need to understand, and I think a lot of people are already aware of it, that our bodies are energy, and every day we are being bombarded by this internal and external stresses, such as physical pain, traumas, illness, electromagnetic radiation, toxicity in the air. So what happens, actually, it blocks the channels within our body, and the energy doesn't flow through. And when that happens, we get into disharmony. So that's when disease, because disease is being at unease, that's how disease would manifest. So these patches, or these, these technologies I work with, they are programmed with various frequencies. So they have botanical, homeopathic frequencies, maybe CBD frequencies, earthing, grounding frequencies, which would modify our levels of energy, our level of vibration, and that's how they can help us to, I can't really say heal ourselves, but to treat many discomforts.
So it kind of retunes the body in certain areas where it's maybe out of balance. Is that's a very layman's explanation, hearing of what you've said. Is that a good interpretation, or?
Kind of, let's say, there's already proven fact. For example, if you went, let's say you've got a problem with your back and you go for acupuncture, they stick needles into you, right? So it unblocks those blockages within your energy system. So it affects your energy and your meridians. And that's what it's similar. It kind of does that, except you don't need to stick anything into you. It's, just naturally, it modifies the frequencies of your body and the frequencies around you. So if you just imagine, we all vibrate as energetic beings at certain frequencies, and some of the frequencies around us, they are harmonious with us. For example, like frequencies of botanical frequencies, homeopathic, earthing frequencies, and some are very, very not in such harmony with us. Some are quite toxic actually to us. And I'm talking about these frequencies emitted by our phones, by laptops, by the Wi-Fi, the radiation, the toxins, all the chemicals, pollution. What these products do is they will neutralize and they will harmonize those harmful frequencies. So by the time they reach our bodies, it doesn't damage us anymore. So there's nothing left in them. So it's all to do with the resonance, how it resonates against other objects around us.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So electromagnetic radiation is then what's emitted from our phones and laptops, you said. So the more kind of plugged in we are online, potentially there's more exposure to that, which is then having an adverse effect on sort of energy levels, concentration, like that.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. And before the lockdown started, if somebody said to me, I've got arthritis, pain and arthritis, I'm like, well, here's the patch. Put them on your hands, put a couple of this here, and it will help you. It will help you. It won't cure you, but it will definitely take the inflammation and the pain away. What I would now say is, do you have a phone? Do you hold the phone in your hands? Well, then first thing is get a protection for your phone, get a protection for your households, and then use the patches. Because this, imagine like you're taking your hammer and you're putting your hand down and you're smashing your hand with a hammer, like for 12, 14 hours a day. And then maybe for 8 hours, you go and you have a rest, and that's your sleep, providing you've got no technologies in your room. So your body rests. But for this 18 hours, I mean, you still smashed your hand pretty hard. So it's still going to hurt. So, yeah, I mean, I think, electromagnetic radiation, people dismiss it because it's not visible, because not many are talking about it. But it's there, and with the rollout of 5Gs, I have some clients who seriously suffer it in America. Big time.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the unseen danger, really, isn't it, as you said?
Right. Yeah, it's like tobacco factories, right? I mean, what did the doctors tell us? What did the tobacco industry told us in 1920? Have a cigarette. It's good for your lungs.
Yeah.
Now we know it's not.
Absolutely. So how have you found, like, having started two businesses, one very different to the other, but what have been some of the challenges that you've found in starting them and sort of navigating from sort of secure salary, maybe identity connection as well? I don't know if that plays a part. And then you said you had the sort of aha moment a couple of years back, and then you've launched into this wholeheartedly. What were some of the challenges that you found?
Well, I mean, when the whole lockdown happens, obviously the franchise, the driving companionship, that's pretty much was in standstill because, before we would take people out, we actually went as far as Manchester, for like wedding events. We would take them to theatres, shopping, garden centres, doctor's appointments. And as we were expanding, and we were like one of the, we were extremely, extremely doing so well for a new starting company. My mom, who's my accountant, she just said, "You're lucky." I'm like, "I'm not lucky. It's need to be like that." I mean, within like 2 months, I've had a second driver, bought a second car, and we're doing really well. And, being a new business owner, I was like pretty impressed, and then obviously everything stopped. But that actually gave me more chance to start developing this biofield resonance business with nature's frequencies. And yeah, I mean, of course, there are challenges. Every business person will have challenge. And the challenge was really to find the people who would understand what it is, because it's an unknown. It's still very new. It's very innovative. So that was one of the challenges. Also, I was used to certain lifestyle. I guess I was, 6-figure earner. And we had skiing, we had this and this and that. And now I was like, right, it's two businesses. One is dead and I still have to pay salaries. And another one I've just started. So, yeah, I mean, that was a big, big shift in my mindset. And what I found really helped me is just to meditate more, to breathe more. And, I'm always been a doer, so I always do things. And now I'm beginning to realize it's not just doing, but it's being in your alignment. It's really taking this aligned actions that only come from within.
Yeah, definitely. So I know one of the areas that you help business owners with is getting the balance. We sort of touched on it a little bit before, but sort of the emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, all those elements that will, make up who we are. Any other tips maybe, or advice, things you've learned that you can share that would help us? We're all at different stages doing different things, but how can we get better balance? Is it more, limiting the amount of time we're connected to sort of the radiation and things like that, or the devices that emit it, or is there a lot more to it than that?
I think it's having that whole holistic approach to life. I mean, for many years, for example, I was eating healthy. I used to run my, but I wouldn't say I was healthy. I was completely out of balance. I took such good care of my physical body. I've completely neglected my emotional, my spiritual, my mental bodies. I never really trained. That's biggest muscle is my mindset. Yeah. Then you get obviously people on the other extreme. They'll sit and meditate all day and they'll take no action. And, they will be just like, well, what is that going to help? So the way I see it, we really need to have this complete balance. And yeah, of course, technology, watch the time you spend on the phone. If you've got children especially, and that's my pain point because I've got 2 of them and I can see how much time at school they spend on technologies and especially at home. Just just even like simple things, obviously ideally everybody should have protection from EMF, but if it's something you don't, just don't let them hold it in their hands as much. Maybe put it like on a pillow, on a stand or something. So minimize that exposure. Also, if somebody loves pets, if somebody has dogs and cats, watch where they lie down. I know cats love to walk over the laptops, and it's like the worst place for them to be because their bodies are tiny and they will absorb so much of this radiation. Children and pets are more susceptible to it. So just pay attention, be aware of it, do your research, find some protection if that's your thing. And another thing is just like sometimes just block all the external noise, go for the nature, meditate, listen to things that inspire you. And I think especially with business owners, when I remember I started, somebody said to me, mindset is about 70% of your business. And I was like, I meditate, I'll be fine. I think mindset is about 99.9% of your business, because when you are aligned completely, you only need to take very small actions. Otherwise, if you think about it, all very busy people would be super successful, right? And we know that's not true. There's very successful people. I mean, look at them. They play golf, they chill, and yet they make millions. So yeah, it's just getting the whole thing into balance, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I like what you said about mindset, because I think, we undervalue the importance of the influence of our mindset at any given time. It's not like I mastered this last week, I'm good now for the rest of my life. It's a daily thing, isn't it? It really is. As much as any other part of us needs constant sort of maintenance, and just we need to be aware of what we're doing with the balance of life, as you said. So you meditate every day. Any other sort of daily habits that aren't, too personal that you'd be happy to share, that maybe people listening think, yeah, I know what I'm currently doing isn't working. And I hear Lena and I think, well, okay, what else could I do? I'm going to try the meditation thing. I'll look into that. Hopefully they'll have a look at your website in a bit as well to see how you can help them with products and things like that. But just from a habit, the mindset side of things, any other tips you could share that would help them?
Yes, I mean, there's so many kind of inspirational, I guess, leaders in that field, in the mindset. I mean, you've got, Lisa Nichols, Regan Healy, there's Abraham Hicks. So find somebody who resonates with you, who inspires you, and just listen on the YouTube, just go and listen to that. That's for me. I remember I went through one phase where I just felt just so dark. I didn't know where I was going, how it's all going to work out, and felt like, actually I almost put like my kid's life in danger, I guess, by just giving it up and just going on a whim, with the gut feel. And I knew without a doubt it's the right path for me. But of course, I was crippled with doubt. And Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks, I mean, her videos have been like for about 3-4 months every day. I think without them, I would have just been in a very much, in a more darker place. Another thing that I found really helpful is playing frequencies. So I work with healing frequencies with products, but you can even go on a YouTube and type in relaxation frequencies, heart opening frequencies, and just listen to them, because it does also change the way you respond to things. And recently, a few weeks ago, I came across a concept of human design. And that has just blown my mind. And the more I understand about human design, it's like literally somebody give you a blueprint of your life and saying, that's why you react like this. That's why you do things that way. There's nothing wrong with you. And it teaches you how to pretty much decondition yourself, because all of us are very conditioned. And it's based on I Ching, astrology, Kabbalah, Ayurveda, Indian practice, and some of other spiritual practices all combined in one. So that's been very, very helpful for me. And I've just discovered it recently.
Okay. So that will gradually, I guess, unfold as part of your service offering to your clients as well.
Spot on. And I thought that's exactly what I think I want to combine with my products is more kind of becoming more expert in the human design field. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. We are almost at the end of our conversation, but you're very good at social media as well. So let's just tap your expertise a little bit with regards to marketing, and maybe the people that are listening thinking, yeah, heard lots of stuff about marketing, still not got it right. Hopefully Lena can help us. What would be a couple of maybe quick hacks that could work for people that maybe their mindset is just locked on one strategy that isn't working, but they don't know what else they could do? What's worked well for you?
I think we're also different. I mean, I can't say someone do this, it will work, because they might not resonate with them. For them, maybe energetically, it's just not possible. So you need to also see how you feel and go with your instincts. What I think is really important to identify, it's like, who do you serve? Because you can't help everyone, So who do you serve? That's a very important thing. Another important thing I've noticed is to really kind of stay in your truth and don't let people talk you down. Don't, just don't put up with the shit. And I know initially, like when I used to get clients, especially with driving these days, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive, the prices. And I'll be like, well, how much can you pay? And I'll be almost like wanting to reduce the prices. And it's not right, because all it is just, it's an exchange of energy. I give you amazing service, you pay money. It's like that with everyone, because if you phone British Airways and you said, I want to fly first class, you wouldn't shout at them because they're charging you more than economy. And it's the same with everything, So don't lower your prices, don't kind of just model yourself to become like your client or someone else. Know who you serve, know your message. And I mean, I've blown thousands and thousands on my Facebook ads. So don't do it. Just don't do it. I think just there's so much opportunity to even reach out people organically, naturally. And until you know what you're doing and you've got like real clear message, then it's probably a great time to do it. But yeah, I went into it completely blindly. But lesson learned, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And you're right. It's kind of, we find our target market, and then where do they best sort of operate and interact, isn't it? Certain platforms people like more than others and things like that.
Yeah. And I also want to say, sorry, I just want to add quickly before I forget. I really believe in mentorship and coaching. I really don't think we should be doing it on our own, because I know so many business owners, they're doing their own books, their own admin, they're doing their own marketing and sales. And there's like 5-6 years later, they haven't progressed. They've saved money, but they probably could have made 10 times as much if they just invested.
Yeah.
But having said that, what I've done, I've went to the other extreme. I've rushed into so many decisions. I had so many coaches, so many mentors. I've burned so much money. So it's important to find someone who really resonates with you, So it's not a rush decision. But if you find a person who you think can help and they walked that path before, it's really worth investing in them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be a mutual thing, both sides, doesn't it? Like, as the coach, there's certain people that they say they're ready, but either you don't think it's a good fit, or there's some sort of flag that says, not sure this is the right thing to do. And yeah, as business owners, we need to be courageous as well and say no to certain potential business if we don't think it aligns. Like you said, I like the way you said alignment. I think, it's got to be a win-win both sides. So
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's really good. Hopefully that's just saved a few people listening some frustration, some time and effort that, heading down the wrong way needs to come back to another way. So maybe just as we wrap this up, how can people touch base with you? Firstly, with, I guess, drivingmissdaisy.com, as the nation comes out of lockdown a bit more, things get a bit freer. Is that likely to sort of start up again, or?
Yeah, we're getting a lot busier now. Unfortunately, still now it's more doctor's appointments, vaccinations, but we're also getting, a few trips out. We're going to the seaside, I think next week. We've got a few bookings. And Driving Miss Daisy, because it's a franchise, we've got about 50 branches all over the country. So if someone just went drivingmissdaisy.co.uk on our website, and there's a head office, and then the head office will direct them to appropriate branch. That would be the easiest.
Okay. Yeah. And then the health and well-being side of things, how can people?
Yeah, the best would be just to connect with me on LinkedIn. So it's just Lena Thompson, really straightforward. And then, just get in touch with me then, because I also want to, when people reach out to me for something like that, I'd actually almost prefer them to talk to me first before just going on a website and just being lost in this world of resonance, unless, of course, they know exactly what it is and what it does.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. It is the first step, kind of a conversation to see, that they
what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah,
exactly. Because we do so much. We've got, for dogs, for pets, even the goldfish are using this product. So I would like to understand what is it that I can help them with.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds really good. Thank you for sharing all of that. I find it interesting, yes, learning about the different services that you provide, but also just part of your journey, some of the learning that you've come through as well. I think it's encouraging because we are all finding our way, aren't we? Really, one way or another. I think it's encouraging, but also, just sharing a few nuggets of wisdom there that hopefully can help people listening to navigate mindset, choices, get the balance of things a bit better. So, all really good stuff. So thank you for all of that. Yes, and no doubt as your business grows and you bring in other services and offerings, then by all means come back and chat to us some more and explain, teach us all about that element as well, because that sounds interesting as well. So
sounds good. Thank you. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. So for everybody listening, whatever part of our conversation today has stuck out as I really need to do something about that, explore, take some action, head to the website, check Lena's LinkedIn profile out, connect with her on there, start a conversation and just see what works, what you think is suitable. Lena can help you with that as well. But definitely take action. If it's maybe changing something about how you view life, the balance of how do I approach each day? Do I meditate? Do I stay focused? Lots of different areas you could do, but I think there was something that stood out for you in our conversation. So go with that to start with. Don't try and do everything. Pick one or two things, and you'll see what works for you. So until next time, we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukaibusinessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.